Okay, let's go to the moon then. We've been to the moon. What about there?
Yeah, we did experiments on the moon.
We did experiments on the moon. So all you've got is make an observation and then ask questions. That's really all you got. That's
well,
not
apart from the experiments that
following
we're
the
on the moon.
scientific method.
Or the experiments that we're doing in the ISS.
Now let's go back to observation. Like you say, astronomy is science, but it's only following two.
Yeah, but same way as
but it's incorrect.
Wow, shh. Let someone finish their point. The same way as we can look at archaeology, and we draw. That is a science. It's not the same as physics. And what you're doing is you're expecting everything to follow the same rules as physics and chemistry and biology, except you don't like the rules in physics, chemistry, and biology and the implications that they hold, which is why you want to move to things like observational science. So I'm much prefer the physics. Go on.
I'd really briefly like to ask: has anyone heard Chemo and Wal actually speak together?
Chemo, can you come on, please? If you're here.
Yeah, Chemo, come on. Chemo, come on and speak to this cunt.
This guy thinks I'm you.
Not necessarily. I think it's maybe a possibility.
I think it'd be an amazing acting job because he also has a nasally voice.
Right, I'm not saying he sounds different. Obviously, it would be Chemo for the air of poisonous.
And in the hey, fella.
There's a very simple way you can solve this. Can you just go for us?
Okay, carry on. So make an observation and then answer a question. You've only got two. You're not following the
Chemo, that's definitely.
No, you said you make a prediction at the start. Remember?
No, that's not the start. You make an observation, then you ask questions, then you form a hypothesis, and then you make a prediction, and then you test it. So how are you testing what you're seeing?
Well, again,
Einstein made a prediction, right? He predicted gravitational lensing. Okay.
Stop.
I need to stop. Why do I need to stop?
Back to someone in the 1910. Let's keep it where we are at the moment.
Why do we do that?
Because we're here right now.
You asked for how someone can test.
Go ahead.
You asked for so you're further constraining what's allowed to be an example to disprove your point. Is that what you're doing now? Because that's quite common, by the way. They do that a lot.
Listen. Carry on then.
You just did it too, Darkstar.
What did I do? No, I'm not. I'm opening it. I'm saying that there's an example, right? Einstein made a prediction. Okay, he said that light can bend by gravity's effect. Okay. And he made a prediction. Does he always stop people when they're in the middle of a point? Is this what he does all the time, or is it just for me he's doing this?
That's very Chemo-esque, though, isn't it?
He is very similar to Chemo in the sense that he's a bit of an idiot and he likes to interrupt all the time.
Yeah. Right.
I don't blame you for thinking he's Chemo now. It's just a slurp that sets him apart. Chemo couldn't have worked this long without slurping.
I'll talk to the other guy.
Yeah. You will, right?
I like the fact that gravity is a property that we can measure, that we can detect, and that we can observe. So I'm in the same position as Darkstar. So now what?
He framed his question.
Okay, so you're not using the scientific method then all the way through. Stop.
Wow.
Step. What about the fourth step? What about
them? But again,
you have to have these arguments over and over again with you, don't you?
Yeah. So can you tell me if we're doing a statistical observation? Yeah. Why do I need to go through
statistical maths? We're observing something.
We can make an observation, and it's called a statistical observation. I would go and look at the premises for the terms that are being used here, because I don't want to insult you by saying you don't understand this or whatever, because that's silly. But I'm using quite normal terms. Yeah, and we can do statistical analysis of something, where we can look at the frequencies of occurrences and we can say this is the regularity, or we can then start to create things like probabilistic arguments for things that we've seen in the past and we want to extrapolate into the future. Yeah. The only thing that the scientific method does is it's really good at telling you that you're wrong.
So are you wrong if you only use 3 steps?
No. If you use that scientific method, get your experiment together, identify your dependent and independent variables, yada, and come out. The only thing you'll ever get as a 100% answer is you're wrong. You'll never get 100% you're right.
It'll be 95% chance. All right, so we're looking at the ground, we're looking at the moon. You want to know, when the moon will pass by or whatever. So you make an observation, then you ask questions, then you form your hypothesis, and then your prediction comes in. And then how are you going to test it on the fifth one? How would you prove that and test it?
Because if it's not consistent, then you're not right.
What I'm looking for is you should be saying, this is what you should be saying, the Earth is spinning, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I hold to the normal model of physics for the Earth. So
Yeah,
you can
the moon is spinning around the Earth, correct?
And the moon orbits the Earth as a satellite.
Yeah, that's what you should be saying. Why didn't you say that?
Because it wasn't pertinent to the question that you asked.
Of course, that's the observation. That's what you're proving. You're meant to be.
We were just talking. We were talking about astronomy. We weren't talking about the Earth. Now you want to talk about the Earth? Cool, I'm happy with that.
Of course, we're talking about the Earth. So we're looking at.
Why are we talking about the Earth?
We want to know about
what does astronomy have to do with the shape of the Earth?
What does astronomy have to do with the shape of the Earth?
Yeah.
Because it's a part of it, isn't it? Because you bring up
the moon and you say we're talking about the Earth.
Sky are rocks, correct?
We can say that another piece of information after we've established the dimensions of the Earth, which we've done, is we can look at other objects in the solar system and say, hey, are we radically, what's similar, what's different, could. And we notice, hey, we're kind of like most of the other inner planets, we seem to be pretty rocky, but by gods, we fucking, we pulled a moon so far out of our league, it's untrue. That's weird. That's one of the weird things that came out of that observation.
So the scientific method for astronomy is only make an observation, ask questions. Yep. Would you agree?
No, I think that's an overly naive and simplistic way of stating it.
Does it follow all the 6 methods?
But again, you're not. There
yes
are
no. Yes or no.
There are not just no,
yes
because
no.
I'm rejecting your premise that there is only one way to do science.
So you just think you go to make an observation and ask questions? Is that it?
No, I'm rejecting your premise that you have to do.
Yes, you're saying no. So your answer is no.
I'm going to finish my point. Wow, I'm saying that I am rejecting your premise that you have to do all of these 6 steps to say that you have to do that for it to be science. I am rejecting that premise.
The answer is
I'm asking you now to support that with some documentation to say you have to do this for it to be science.
Me. I don't believe in astronomy. You do. So
No. I'm not saying that. I am rejecting the argument you are putting forward that you have to do all 6 steps for it to be science.
You do. That's a scientific method.
That's our point of discussion. Then pull me up a reference that says you have to do this for it to be science. If you don't,
instead of that, bullish, is there any way?
And the second step, but not do all the rest, can you? Then you're not using the scientific method.
Is there any way you can explain to me then if 6 steps are not needed, right? Then what are the steps at least that you need? What are they? Because you said, please let me finish. Because when he tried to explain what he thought you were going to, explain what science is, you said no. So can you tell me from your point of view then, if you don't think what we're saying is correct, what is needed for science then? What are the steps that is definitely needed?
Yeah, so what you're saying is that you want to do a library. What's the book in the library? It's not that simple.
She's not saying that.
Shut up, Wow. Wow, shut up, please. Stop over talking. I'm trying not to over talk everybody else, and I'm horrible at it. I'm getting moody. Yeah, so and with science, it depends on what type of science you're doing and what you're looking to prove. So yeah, you're right. If we're going into sort of like things like chemistry or physics, and we're looking at an example that we're going to use that's going to prove a point, we're going to go through most of those 6 steps most of the time. But again, those steps are not cast in iron, because you can go out there and you can find dozens and dozens of different examples of scientific methods. There is not a scientific method. There are scientific methods.
Is the moon physical?
Okay, wait. Is there one science? I'm honestly asking that though. Is there one scientific method for natural science? Now I understand you say natural can be other things than quantum says. Okay, I'll give you that. Let's just say I'll give you that. But is there only one for natural science?
So if I'm looking at a biological thing, there's the number of things I can do. I can do generational studies. I can manipulate my variables by doing artificial breeding, but I might just be observing animals in the wild. So I'm not going to be manipulating. In fact, I'm going to go out of my fucking way not to manipulate anything, because manipulating it will invalidate the study. So there is one example where we wouldn't go through the 6 steps of the scientific method.
So is this going to be an argument of what science is at the end of the day? Because science, is a lot of things if you want to put it down to a definition. But trying to prove something at the end of the day would take a scientific method to get a result. We can do experiments and observe and observe. But if you want an answer, do a certain way.
The only thing you do in the scientific method, Stacey, is you falsify. You don't prove.
Exactly.
You come up with the most likely answer. That's what should come out at the end of it. But you don't come out with the truth. And in fact, what scientific method is best at doing is telling you you're fucking wrong.
As in astronomy, you only use 2 steps, correct?
All you need, I think, for it to be science is you need a falsifiable conclusion, and then you need a systematic approach,
which is
to trying to falsify that conclusion.
Yeah, but aren't you?
It can be any. It can be any number. It can be any number of things. For instance, well, I always use birds. If I want to know what month bluebirds lay their eggs,
hey, that's
I can reach a conclusion on that by making observations of bluebirds, right? And if I make enough observations of bluebirds, I will find that most bluebirds lay their eggs in April, for instance. I'm guessing.
Good, but we're talking about the sky.
However, does that allow me to draw a reliable conclusion on the question of when bluebirds lay their eggs?
We're talking about the planets, mate.
I don't know where you came up with the idea.
I'm not. In this example, I'm not. On this example, I'm not talking about the planets.
Well,
but aren't you just researching and you're not being a scientist at that point? What's the difference between a researcher and a scientist then?
Oh, you've made that distinction, so you would have to tell us. I haven't said that. You've said that. But my question is that neither of you have answered because you're scared to. Is does that method that I've laid out allow me?
Oh, that's good. What you said was good. That makes sense. That's what a researcher.
So I can reach a reliable conclusion about when bluebirds lay their eggs, right?
Yeah, but we're talking about the planets.
Now I can test this conclusion, right? Can't I? Because I can go somewhere else and see when bluebirds lay their eggs. Or I can come back the following year and see when bluebirds lay their eggs, and I can test the conclusion that way. So I think they're
having a planet.
God, it would be so much easier if I didn't have to wade through you, and people would hear what you're saying. Go ahead.
Who?
Yeah, who? I want to ask you about the research and the scientists, because we're like conflating terms. If you're saying that I go out and I observe, say, the natural behaviour and cycles of, say, wildebeest. Now, I don't want to interact with them, right, because I want to observe their natural behaviours. Now, this is why I want to understand the difference between a scientist and a researcher, because this is damn good research, right? You're observing stuff, you're coming up with data, you're coming up with results. They lay their eggs at this type of year, they eat this type of food. So that is knowledge gathering by observing things, right? But you're not actually... Well, this is the thing, because every time I look up any scientific method that anybody is talking about, the main thing that comes up is an experiment where the scientist physically manipulates his, independent, dependent variables and start talking about that again. But every single time I look up,
why don't you go and look up?
Look for a correlative. Look for a correlative study, right? I'm describing a correlative study.
Yeah.
So it's a research.
You correlate data to draw a conclusion.
So science research science, I guess.
Look, if you want to just, you're clearly desperate to make it not science and call it research. The point is, and I asked this question, and Alien agreed with me, but the point is, can I reach a reliable conclusion using this method of this particular thing that I'm describing. And I say that I can. So whatever you label it, you can label it science or label it research, you can label it whatever you want. But I think it gives me a reliable conclusion. You can disagree with that.
Okay, no, I actually listen. I agree with you with what you're trying to say there, but at the same time, you're not manipulating anything, so you're not really doing experiments or anything. You're literally just, observing things. And if we want to include that into science, and that's in a field, then I can actually say that's fine. Put my hand up. Okay, we can do that. But at the same time, you're not experimenting on anything.
Is my conclusion reliable? That's what matters, right? Can I glean knowledge from the world of reality using this method? I say yes. If you say I can't,
I agree.
Tell me how I can't. I don't care what you label it.
100%.
I don't care what label you want to stick on it.
I don't see why it matters either, what label you put on it.
Right.
It's the fact that science is a collection of knowledge. It's a collection of stuff that we have done, and it's the methodology used to do it. As long as you can, take that methodology and repeat it where possible, then you can either come to agreement or disagreement with the conclusions that have been drawn. That's all fucking science is.
So is astronomy science then?
Yes.
So it uses the scientific method?
Yes.
So it only uses two parts, but it's science.
Well, no. You want to define that there is only one scientific method, and I've already rejected that premise.
So you're only following two parts, though. Make an observation.
No, I reject the fact that there is a single scientific method, and you've yet to establish there is only a single scientific method. So when you do that, I'm going to continue to reject that point. Do you understand, Wow?
You can say no. So you make an observation and you ask questions, and that's all you do.
And you make predictions.
And yep, you make predictions. So you jumped from
test
one
your predictions by making further observations.
Four.
Yeah, that was exactly the point I made earlier, Jim.
What about the third one?
You test those predictions by making further observations to see if your predictions play out in reality, right?
So how can I test that the moon's gonna come up at night? How can I test that?
By observing it.
Observe to see if it comes up at night.
So that's how I'm testing it.
Well, that's a pretty good test,
That's
right?
not very valid. That's not valid.
What? Seeing it happen isn't valid to say something happened.
Test going.
But what's your prediction? How do you test your prediction about the moon coming up? You observe it, don't you? How else are you going to test that?
Well, you can't test it. That's my point.
Well,
you can't test it.
You observe it coming up. That's how you test that prediction.
Yeah, you can't manipulate.
It either comes up or it doesn't. So how is it that we're able to predict its exact moonrise, moonset, its position at any given moment on any place on the Earth? How are we able to predict all that if you can't test it? We can't build a we can't build a model that describes its behavior.
You can't test it.
Then how do we predict it?
You can't predict it.
Really?
Just more than two syllable answers, please.
He thinks if he just keeps repeating that you can't do it, that it'll
if we just gain knowledge, it's science, Jim? Is that what we're kind of saying here? If it's gaining knowledge, that what you were talking about earlier that you were doing, you gain some knowledge from the stuff that you're observing. So if we gain knowledge from it, it's science. But if that's the case, I'm gaining knowledge from being here every day. So I guess I'm doing science right now.
What I said for it to be science is you need a falsifiable hypothesis, right? You need to be able to falsify.
Which is what?
Unsystematic, right? Unrepeatable. Those are the values that go along with the scientific methods.
In the case,
you're only using one and two.
How are you falsifying the hypothesis?
In the case of my birds example, my hypothesis is that almost all bluebirds are going to lay their eggs in April. This is a hypothesis I formulated from making repeated observations of bluebirds. I test this hypothesis by making further repeated observations of bluebirds.
Oh shit, one had it in December. It's all false.
But then we can also look, so we can say, well, that's weird. Historically, for the last 30 years, bluebirds have laid their eggs in April. all of a sudden they're starting to lay their eggs in May. And we're seeing weather patterns going underneath that. And then we can start to say, well, that's interesting. And that's now asking more questions about what's happening. And generally, we'll see there'll be some environmental change and pressure, which is then altering that pattern. And then we can look at the identification of that. But without doing that Blue Jay study in the beginning, we would have never been able to ask those further questions.
You're 100% right. Listen, that's wonderful. But then that makes me feel like then, and I, like you said, we can call it what you want to call it. But for me, in my head with logic, that is doing research for science. Because now that research that you use is being applied for science and you're doing actual science with it. But all he did was observe things and he did research on the natural world and what it's doing and behaving.
Yeah, that's still science.
Yeah.
Science is just learning about the natural world around us.
Not using the scientific method, though.
There's no scientific method.
There's no scientific method.
No, there's not one science.
Yeah, I mean, you keep going back to this one scientific method. Can you show me that there is one scientific method that has to be used by all branches of science for it to be called science?
I didn't say that. I didn't
Can
say
you do
that.
that well?
I didn't say that.
So why do you keep making that implication of why using step 3 or step, when we're applying it to a study, when we're applying it to a study or to a scientific discipline where this would not be the case? So you agree that there's not one method, yet you're trying to railroad us down there is only one method. Which is it?
No, I'm saying astronomy, like that guy said, only uses 2 steps. Make an observation.
You've left out prediction for like the 6th time in a row. Wow.
I'm just.
No, maybe you're right. Listen, at the end of the day, it's science. Okay, I'll claim it. You guys want to say it's science, but then if you look up the definition of pseudoscience, it's anything that doesn't use the scientific method.
Correct.
It's then considered pseudoscience. So therefore, whatever you're doing, you can call it science, but at the end of the day, that shit's pseudoscience.
The problem is, Stacey, the problem is with all of these claims, what they all amount to is you've read something that says if it doesn't use the scientific method, it's not science. But that thing that says that particular thing, not some other thing, that specific thing doesn't say the scientific method is quantum erasers, 4-step program, and only that.
No one's talking about quantum eraser.
What you'll do to build that conclusion is you'll go somewhere else to some other source to get that, and then you'll add those 2 things together and say this is what science is. But you need to establish that your source that says that when they say when they say scientific method, you need to establish that they mean what quantum eraser means and what you mean.
No. I'm not bringing quantum eraser in. Please, let's not do that. Look, I will give you the most basic, whatever you want to give me, of a scientific method, right? But here's my issue. You guys just said that research that you were doing is considered science, but you've done no scientific method, not even one that you want to come up with, but you still called it science. You need to label
I tested my conclusion. I formed a hypothesis. And I made observations which tested my hypothesis.
That's an oxymoron, Jem, because there are all different types of money. But we still call it money collectively, don't we? Just like we call science collectively all sciences. So a scientific method could mean all sciences, all scientific methods, and there isn't just one, no. There are millions of them.
Tell me how my method fails.
Everything that we look at, yeah.
Millions?
Millions of them. There are methods for everything that we look at, and there's all different scientific procedures and methods we've got to take to look at them. Like if you want to look at a gem, you've got to get it on a slide and put it under a magnifying glass. See, that's a scientific method. See?
Right. Tell me how my method is. Where does my method fail, Stacey?
What method are you using?
Can I say something too? It doesn't say that it should include a scientific method. It says the scientific method. So let's go down to your basic scientific method, scientific method, and tell me if you actually did
you need to establish. So again, you need to establish that when that person says the scientific method, they mean quantum erasers, 4-step program, and only that, and nothing else. And you have not established that.
You didn't say that.
Again, I didn't say that. I'm asking for even your basic, whatever you want to give me.
You
Jim, I think you should go through the quotes now, Jim. I think you should go through your quotes.
The scientific method, as described, as we've already said, means you need a falsifiable hypothesis. You need to be able to falsify what you're concluding. You need to be able to, and what you do needs to be observable and testable.
Yeah. So when you're looking at
repeatable.
At the planet, you're making an observation. You're answering questions. That is all you're doing. You're not doing all the rest of it.
So those things are a scientific method.
Yeah, all of them are. Yeah, but you're not following the steps. You're only doing 1, 2, and probably another one somewhere. That's all you're doing, but you're not following the scientific method. So therefore,
again, for the thousandth time, the scientific method does not exist. It's not a thing.
Sorry, I've got to interrupt now.
Well,
so if you're claiming the scientific method doesn't exist, I literally just found the definition of it. So if something is defined, you're telling me it doesn't exist. That's ridiculous.
I am telling you, it does not exist as a single entity, as a single 4-step, 6-step method. It does not exist.
So in this case, we never discovered incorrect. So in this case, we never discovered the electrons.
I've got a dozen, more than a dozen, 20 citations from leading scientists who would agree with me on this. Leading people in the field of science. Nobel Prize winners who would agree with that.
That's fine. Listen, but can we at least talk from the next perspective when we talk from here on? Not about quantum eraser. I'm not talking about quantum eraser. I'm not talking about his method. I'm talking about when I'm looking up shit and it says the method.
You've only got this method from him.
Hold on. Hold on. Let's actually define like what the actual scientific method is.
Yeah,
like,
because there is one.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Do that for now.
Because when Jim Panda says something like when Jim Panda says something along the lines of, "Oh, the scientific method doesn't exist," I think what he's saying is that, but from listening to him, it's like the actual process of how you perform observations is different, but that doesn't actually, from the research that I've seen, it doesn't really appear that what Jim Payne is saying contradicts what the scientific method is. It just, correct me if I'm wrong, but.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
General theory of relativity.
The problem we're having is the fact that what you're going to do is you're going to have a methodology, and that's what they're really saying, is there needs to be a method that you can articulate to describe how you've come to your conclusions, which you will now support with data, evidence, and you will now show how that has either not falsified or falsified your hypothesis. And I need all of that to be able to look at it and go, yeah, that shit's valid, or I don't like what he did there. That's all they're talking about. Show you working.
A quick citation from the physics teacher, volume 37, page May 1999, page 297. Many texts teach the scientific method, in quotes, illustrated step by step. The idea that there is such a method, or that memorizing the steps can be helpful, is an anathema to practicing physicists.
I mean, I remember taking higher mathematics, and the first thing I was told, literally on the first day, was, you know, all that shit you learned for the last 7-8 years, just fucking forget it.
This is why we don't actually teach it in this country anymore.
Well, this is why the general theory of relativity can't be accounted by the scientific method, and nothing can be accounted by the scientific method because it's provisional.
What?
Well,
science is provisional. Science only measures quantitative aspects of reality. It doesn't measure qualitative aspects of reality.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, because what you're saying is that it can falsify shit. We can say stuff is wrong, but we can't say it's right.
Yeah, exactly. If we want to talk about the scientific method, we should reform it. We shouldn't just figure out what it is. We should literally reform the scientific method to measure qualitative aspects of reality.
But Da Vinci, wouldn't you agree with my point that the way we kind of use the scientific method is show your evidence, show your hypothesis, show your methodology?
I agree with that.
I
agree wholeheartedly.
To me, that's a great foundation for me for the scientific method.
Yeah, that's, dude, being able to show result, like your observations, being able to show your results, being able to show and communicate your, your data and stuff is extremely important. It's the most important thing about science. But also what's also important about science is that people have to realize that it's provisional at this current moment, and science isn't the end all be all to reality or to ontological existence.
Right. I use the bucket of shit that we know and the bucket of shit that we don't know. The bucket of shit we don't know is much bigger, and we always respect that the bucket of shit that we don't know can affect everything in the bucket of shit that we do know.
Yeah, exactly, man, exactly. Exactly.
So I explain complicated things to very simple people.
But their claim is that science proves things. It reaches conclusions that are irrefutable, is their claim. And again, I don't think this is true.
Yeah, I think this would be a generalization or a category error, because basically science is literally just provisional, and it is useful. I'm not saying it's not useful. I'm just saying it's very provisional. It's very subject to change, and we're constantly learning new things about science all the time. So it's a constantly changing and evolving aspect of reality science, So
I'd certainly say it's one of the best ways to get as close to the truth as you can. Because
Right.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
agree. And I even agree that quantum eraser's method is a good way to get to truth. It is, but it doesn't get you to an irrefutable objective truth.
Exactly.
It might get you close, but you cannot say it proves things.
Yeah, objective truth is a difficult thing in general, because objective truth would suggest that it's correct everywhere, and that in any circumstance it's correct. So that would be the overall underpinning of everything.
You then get into the fallible, infallible question and blah blah blah.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to get into.
But yeah, and I think that's the problem. Wow, Stacey, with this is the fact that it's showing your working, it's showing your methodology of how you drew your conclusions, and then allowing that to be open to be analysed and critiqued by others. That's the scientific method to me.
So astronomy then is not science then? Is that what you're saying?
It falls perfectly within the purview of exactly what I just fucking said. So I don't know why you keep wanting to throw astronomy under the bus.
Methods is fine. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that what I've just said is what I consider to be the scientific method.
Said a lot of waffle and you used two steps.
I said something very concise and on point
I don't
and
think
accurate. And if you want to say that there is only one scientific method, can you please present it to us and tell me the authority that it has? Then why do you keep saying? So what is step 3?
Step 3, form a hypothesis. Have you done that?
Why is that step 3?
Because that's what we teach children and people.
Let me ask you guys an off-topic question.
So is that the only position that it can? Is step 3 the only position that you can have a hypothesis in?
Children, you're not understanding. So you make.
I'm drilling you down the fact that you keep claiming that there is one scientific method, and when pushed on the point, you then run away from it.
The one that we all use when we teach children.
That's the same as claiming there's just one.
Which is to make an observation, then you ask questions, and then you form a hypothesis. But you only use 2. You don't follow the 6 steps. So that is not
prediction as well.
So you jump from make observations, ask questions, and what do? Test prediction.
You make so you make predictions. That's generally within your hypothesis. So you're going to make your observations.
You don't need to run around like this, man.
You're going to have a hypothesis from it. And from that, you can.
Dross, you don't need to run around like this, man. You've already said it about 5 times. He needs to be presenting why this is the one true method, right?
Yeah,
when we're looking at the planets,
so why don't you try and hold into it instead of using it over and over again?
So when we're looking at the planets,
I want you to establish the fact that we need to have hypothesis as step 3.
Okay, so are you guys aware of who Adam Trombley is?
Not off the top of my head.
Why should anyone be aware of who a person
Trombley,
is?
Adam Trombley was one of the most renowned engineering slash physicists slash scientists of the modern era, and he
So much so
basically
that no one knows who he is.
this is one of his quotes. He said, "Using electromagnetic warfare against human beings, you can cause disease, you could cause hysteria, and you could cause passivity for population control."
Wow, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
What year?
No, it
what
does,
year
because-
this was published? What
No,
year was this published?
Wait, no, it does, because all of you
What
have
year
phones,
was
right?
this published? What
All of
year
you have
was this
phones.
published?
Wait,
60s or 70s.
all
What
of you have
year?
phones, right? All of you have phones, and all of you have are connected to radio towers right now, and Wi-Fi.
And
right?
we're not all hysterical.
Oh, no, I mean, no, I'm just saying. I'm not saying all of you are hysterical. I'm just saying the possibility of creating mass hysteria with all this technology.
Yeah, basically
all
you're
this technology is
We're
actually very
going down a
possible.
rabbit hole, and
We don't even
I
know
would,
how we
and I
got
would much
here.
prefer for WoW
No, I'm
to
just saying,
establish
everybody
that
here
we
is
need
connected to a
hypothesis
reception.
in step 3 of our scientific method that we must use.
Hypothesis step 2.
You said what's step 2? So you've made the observation of Mars.
It's not.
Now you
it's
ask the
not a
question.
I'm
checklist.
saying, why does I'm asking you to provide the citation that we have to use this singular prescriptive method.
All common sense. We all know this. Look it up, fella.
So you
what
don't
scientific
have
method-
it.
so
you
what-
say
which-
you don't have it is what you're telling me.
I'm
which
looking at it right now.
So
Looking
guys,
at it
which,
right now.
which scientific
It's not
method?
It's not me.
which
It's your claim. You think astronomy is
which
is
scientific
science.
which
So you need
scientific
to
method do
prove
we
it.
use in
I'm
astronomy?
just
Which,
stating out that you're not
guys,
using.
You're
the
just
scientific
trying to tell us what the scientific method is, but you're not.
Yeah, because
prepared
you're not
to back
using it.
up.
It's not science.
Well,
You guys,
again,
I have
can
a
you
really
back
good
up
question.
where you have to use this 6-step methodology for it to be science?
It's not my claim. You believe in
No,
astronomy.
no.
Now,
It
on
is
you,
your
mate.
claim. You're
On you.
claiming that if you don't use this
Okay.
methodology, it's not science. That is
I'm
your
just
claim.
pointing out something that is wrong.
That is your claim.
What I'm
Well,
doing.
are you going to defend it?
I'm pointing out that it's wrong.
Are you going to defend your claim?
And what is my claim?
Your claim is that if you don't use the 6-step or whatever step scientific method, then it's not science, and that applies to all sciences. Go.
I didn't say that. Did I say
What
that?
are you saying?
Yeah, you did say that.
Did I say that?
Clarify.
Okay, let me ask a question then. Wow, do you have to apply all of the scientific steps to an experiment for it to be classed as proper science?
Yes.
Okay, what are those steps?
Oh my God! What are those steps?
Yes, and is there only one set of steps, or are there multiple set of steps?
There's 6 generic ones that we use, and it's been posted many times. I'm not going to repeat it. You know what it is.
6 generic. So if they're generic, we don't have to use them. That's what you're saying. Cool. So
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But
so we have to use all 6 of those steps.
I think
Ideally,
the word
yes.
we meant to use is basic steps, not necessarily generic, like they're nothing, like
So
the
guys,
basic ones.
which part of the scientific method do we use to determine whether or not something is a planet?
Yes. Great question.
So you asked.
Come on, Globers.
That's not really a great question.
Oh, it's a great
No, it
question.
is. It is because I want to know. No, it is because I
really-
want to know what scientific experiments we could do on planets that suggest that they're actually planets.
Oh, we have
Alright,
Kiwi
so-
power here. Thank you,
So
Kiwi.
that's not a question that you would answer with a scientific experiment. When you're asking about definitions of things and whether things matter.
It is one that we can answer with a scientific method now.
Yeah, but it's not a
because
good
we've sent
question.
probes there, and we've actually tested the material, so we've had tactile interaction.
Can everybody do a
We've had
reproducible experiment on those
observations
probes?
from it.
Can everybody do a
fuck
reproducible
off.
experiment on those probes?
Thank you,
Hey, you guys talking all at once. Nobody can hear
Yeah,
anything.
I'm
Kiwi
going to go
daddy
and shut
here.
up for a bit, because otherwise I'm going to start shouting at people.
A Kiwi flurf daddy. I love it.
Well, I mean, that's a bad question to ask, Da Vinci, because I think you know why. You're asking about, does this thing meet a definition? That's not really how science answers questions.
No, I'm not asking if anything needs a definition. I'm asking if
You're asking if it's a planet.
In order to
right?
determine the ontology of a planet, do we need the actual
Ooh,
scientific method, or
ontology.
are we just theoretically proposing or presupposing that it's a planet?
That's what they're doing.
It has to
observe the
definition
characteristics of a
required.
planet to determine if it's a planet.
Right.
Must orbit a star. It's got to be
don't
big
need
enough to have enough gravity to form itself into a spherical shape.
and it must be big enough that as gravity has cleared away any other objects that are of similar size.
What Da Vinci is asking.
All that math
You
add
don't
up.
need to do an
Does all that math
experiment
add up
to
and equal
confirm
each
this.
other.
You just need observations, Da Vinci.
Well, he used the
Otherwise,
word.
this is not a great question to ask.
Does
He
all the
used the-
orbital does all the
He used
does
the
all
word
orbital
ontology.
dynamic- Does all the orbital dynamic math involved with that add up? Does it actually not contradict itself?
You use the
it
word
has to measure
ontology.
observations.
Or does it contradict?
He's trying
He's
to say
asking-
that
he's asking a
astronomy is
question.
not a science.
Exactly.
This
He's a
is
Kiwi
bullshit.
flurf daddy.
The answer to that
Astrology,
question is clear.
astrology is a science, not astronomy.
You're a Kiwi flurf daddy.
I'm just a flat earther. I mean,
Yeah, you're a
Well, I
Kiwi,
mean,
Kiwi flurf daddy.
He's
Use the word
implying that
ontology.
it
I
does
need to-
I'd
contradict.
much rather be on a. I'd much rather be on an enclosed.
It's important to
focused,
bicker and name
specialized-
call here rather than
I'd
get
much
to a
rather-
Well,
point.
Da Vinci, honey,
much
they
rather be
changed
on
the
a closed-
definition of planets back in like 2015 for, I think that was a date, maybe like 13. You may have to ask Russ or someone else in here exact date. I don't want to get it wrong. For Pluto and stuff. So, I mean, to verify a scientific method experiment of the sky and what is going on, I don't think we're going to have that.
You don't need to do an
Is this
experiment.
what Da Vinci
for
is
this
on about?
thing. Yeah, Da
I don't think
Vinci's
Da
quote
Vinci's
is not-
on about the definition of a planet and whether a body out in
not.
space meets
Well,
that
we're trying to
definition.
even.
Well, that was
He's
asking
using
if
the
it's a
word
planet or
planet
not.
when what he's
Asking if there's a
questioning
planet or
is,
not, and you haven't even
is it
defined a
physical
planet until
material reality?
2015.
Is that,
No.
Thank you, Stacy. Is that correct, Da Vinci? Is that what you're actually questioning?
Yeah, I'm questioning whether or not the ontology of a planet can actually be determined with the scientific method or not.
I'm literally
Oh,
testing
so
it out
you're
right
asking
now.
a different question then.
I'm literally testing it right now.
Yes, you can test that stuff.
How are you going to do the scientific method on it? Can somebody tell me?
So, okay, so right now I made an observation of that the moon has markings on it consistent no matter where you are on the Earth, which is true, by the way. Hey, that is an observable fact. We could, and the question that I propose right now is why can't we see different markings or see the markings that we have at the current moment disappear depending on where we are on Earth? And so now my hypothesis is coming up with a method to figure it out, and then I'm going to make a prediction, and then I'm going to test it, and then by that I'm going to get a result, and then from there I'm going to propose a new hypothesis from there, depending on what my result is.
Yeah, but that's not going to satisfy.
Where's the independent and dependent variable?
Yeah, see, that's not going to satisfy a Kiwi flurf daddy.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm just going through how I'm going to try to do it right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
to experiment with it, though, you would need an independent and dependent variable.
Okay, this is you
don't get to do.
You guys have learned all kinds of things in your life, truths about reality, without going through this independent, dependent variable, quantum eraser, four-step program. You guys, almost everything that you've ever learned as a human being on this planet, you have learned without doing this method. So it's ridiculous to think that scientists need to tie their hands behind their back and to learn truths about reality. They have to follow this specific sequence of things.
Jake, that wasn't the question, though. No one ever said that, okay? Look, I already said earlier, you can count things as science if you want to. But he's asking if the scientific method can be applied. So if he's going to say, can the scientific method, so we're going from that perspective, right? I'm not going from the other perspective.
You can't be given this sweet
you guys are trying,
which you have no meaning behind it all, Stacey.
Independent variable and actually go down and experiment.
Oh, Stacy, you know nothing about experiments. What's your background in science?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I mean, you guys are trying to put science in this little tiny specific box, which is not what science is.
Now, what they want to do is they want to disregard anything that doesn't follow their little procedures. That way they can say a whole bunch of stuff.
And
isn't
anything
science.
that debunks the flat Earth is off the table, which is why they don't want to talk about the moon, the sun.
The moon, the sun, anything.
They don't want to talk about any of that stuff because it all debunks the flat Earth. That's why their narrative is it's not science.
You guys sound absolutely desperate. Calm down.
No one has ever said that. Everybody calm
Yes, that's
down.
exactly where they go, Stacy.
They sound so desperate. Relax, guys. Relax.
Can't hear anything if everybody talks at once.
Right, let me get another quick citation in that I think sums this up quite nicely. This is from the University of California. It's called Understanding Science. It will take me 45 seconds to read this, so please be quiet for that length of time. Misconception. There is a single scientific method that all scientists follow. Correction. The scientific method is often taught in science courses as a simple way to understand the basics of scientific testing. In fact, the scientific method represents how scientists usually write up their results of their studies and how a few investigations are actually done. But it is a grossly oversimplified representation of how scientists generally build knowledge. The process of science is exciting, complex, and unpredictable. It involves many different people engaged in many different activities in many different orders. They go on to say, the simplified linear scientific method implies that scientific studies follow an unvarying linear recipe. But in reality, in their work, scientists engage in many different activities in many different sequences. Scientific investigations often involve repeating the same steps many times to account for new information and ideas. The simplified linear scientific method implies that science is done by individual scientists working through these steps in isolation. But in reality, science depends on interactions within the scientific community. Different parts of the process of science being carried out by different people at different times. The simplified linear scientific method implies that science has little room for creativity. But in reality, the process of science is exciting, dynamic, and unpredictable. Science relies on creative people thinking outside the box. The simplified linear scientific method implies that science concludes, but in reality, scientific conclusions are always revisable if warranted by the evidence. Scientific investigations are often ongoing, raising new questions even as old ones are answered. That's the end.
Can I speak on that, Jim?
What does that even mean?
No, I actually could sit here and go, look, like earlier. I agree then. If you guys want to claim that science and stuff, I agree. What you did earlier for research, you might research science, whatever it is, okay? It's for science. But when you say that someone used a scientific method, then we at least need to know what the basic, even if there's a million of them.
I've already answered that twice, Stacey.
Please.
I've already answered it twice.
I didn't ask the question. What I'm trying to say is even if there's the most basic form, right? There has to be. I'm not asking science to use it. But what I'm saying is if you're going to say you apply a scientific method, we need to now figure out what is the most basic form of a scientific method, and it does at least falsify things so that you can realize what reality and what's going on. I'm not saying your science has to always use it, but what is it? Because there has to be one.
I said it has to be observable, repeatable, and testable. You have to be able to test your hypothesis in some way.
Okay.
So
at least what?
Sorry,
so
Stacey.
Are you going to need an independent and dependent variable to do that at all?
Not necessarily.
I don't think you need it all, Jim. Your framework is very general. The one that these guys are proposing is not.
Right,
So
they want to limit it. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so yours encompasses that. So it's
yes.
fine.
Can I give maybe an example?
And I've said that. I'm not saying that method isn't useful. It is useful. It's very useful. But it's not, as Jake has pointed out, it's just not the only way we can reach knowledge conclusions, or the only way we can reach scientific knowledge conclusions, if you want to give it that label.
So Stacey, if I could give you an example, let's say there's a new vaccine out there. You can ask two different questions, which could both be answered by two different things. One researcher wants to know if this vaccine allows for you to make antibodies, and the second researcher wants to know if it protects you from getting the infection. In the case where you're getting an infection, you do need to have like a control group to compare against. But if you just want to know what the number is of an antibody level or some test result, you don't need to do an experiment. You just need to do an observation and a measurement, right? Does that make sense?
Okay.
So it's really dependent on the question you ask in the beginning.
Right. There's many tools that are used depending on the discipline.
So, one of the greatest scientists ever, Nikola Tesla, said, "Instinct is something that transcends knowledge." We have
Tesla was a scientist. He was an engineer.
Hold on. Let him finish his quote.
Whatever you want to say. We have undoubtedly certain finer fibers that enable us to perceive truths when logical deduction or any other willful effort of the brain is futile.
Okay, so what part of the brain are you talking about?
I'm not talking about anything. Nikola Tesla was talking about it. He's probably referring.
What part of the brain was Tesla talking about?
Probably referring to consciousness or the ether. The ether is the same thing as consciousness.
God, oh, it is. What the fuck?
You did literally did not say either of those words in his quote.
Ooh, actually, not. Wow, I was wrong.
But he was in his previous journal. In his previous journal entries, he was speaking about how the ether pertains to human perception and consciousness.
That's nice, but he didn't mention it in that quote that you gave.
This is some Deepak Chopra's bullshit.
Verifiable. I mean,
most people chakras are real. We have chakras in our body. We have chakras in our body.
Can you let Stacy finish talking first?
I didn't know
before you start talking, Da Vinci.
I didn't know she started talking. I was talking.
It's okay. The fact is, even if he said it or didn't say it, all these things that you're talking about, we cannot verify. I mean, I love the whole concept of the ether too, and maybe it does exist. I can't verify these things. I can't verify everything you just said, so therefore we're just talking about speculation. The things we're talking about right now, we're trying to actually verify.
You're not trying to
well, you could actually verify. Hold on. You could actually verify that the ether exists. All you have to do is
how?
All you have to do is put a copper wire into the ground and generate electricity during a storm, and you could generate over 250% output than input.
That's not ether.
I don't think it demonstrates ether, Da Vinci.
It doesn't. It doesn't demonstrate the over unity device either.
Suggest that there's more energy going into the device than.
So why haven't you mass-produced this and become a billionaire, offering the cheapest energy around everywhere, perfectly
How come you didn't
energy?
publish it? Where's your publication of this amazing ether energy generator?
The occultists that run modern science and run the world right now.
Well, why don't you go ahead and mass produce this and start your own business and become a millionaire?
They would let me live if they killed Adam Trombley in his own home.
Fuck off.
Oh my god.
Look, I'm on your side, hon. Like, there's a lot of people on your side.
Paranoia delusion. Paranoia delusion. You need help.
And they killed Nikola
You need help.
Who the fuck is Trombley?
This is for the good of humanity. You should take one for the team.
Okay, guys, let's try and take it one at a time. Guys, come on.
Don't want to actually pertain to the actual scientific acknowledgments and discoveries of the modern
era. Is Da Vinci Jedi?
I don't care about that. You guys just care
no,
about
he's not. Because Jedi's with me.
I don't understand why you would want to. Why you want to
can you stop talking, please, and listen to other people?
All right, can everyone all talk at the same time? Because it'll work better if we all do that.
Okay.
Right, so I just want to say that I don't understand anyone who thinks they're going to be able to speak to Stacey on any sort of level that she'll understand with regards to science. I mean, she clearly has a complete misunderstanding of science, the scientific method. You're not going to be able to correct this in the conversation. It's
well, they all have, don't they? They've all learned this off QE and want to stick with it, and I can understand why, because it allows them. It allows them to reject vast swathes of reality and just pretend it's not there. But
right, and that's part of the mental gymnastics that required in order to maintain this delusion that they are holding on to. I personally think as a way to exercise control in their lives that they've lost somehow. Like it's just a form of control that they've lost in their own lives.
It's a human reaction. That's a poor coping mechanism with stress.
By sitting here having a conversation and asking questions, and even Veach giving me information, me reading it, and then say I'm going to bring it to Quantum Eraser because I'm questioning what I've been told. You're going to say some nonsense like that? Chris, quit getting personal. Sit the fuck down.
I'm not getting personal, actually. This is an observation I've made over countless flat earthers. It's not just flat earthers. I do it myself. Right? What the fuck? What the fuck? I have had. Okay. Are you going to just continue to shut the fuck up?
Chris, because you come in here and just call my name out saying some fucking nonsense.
Right,
I can understand
because,
if I was
Stacey,
in here
because
just
you're
talking shit, but I was actually listening to people, asking questions, and we were getting somewhere, and I was actually agreeing with even some people. So the fact for you to come in here and make some claims like that just shows the kind of person that you actually are.
Okay, so what was said that you've now reconsidered after you've heard this conversation? You've been part of this conversation.
I'm asking you what you heard that made you come in.
No, I'm asking you what you have now reconsidered as a result of the conversation that you just previously had. See, Stacey, you're not going to tell me what you've reconsidered because you've not reconsidered the fucking thing.
Reconsidered what? What are you talking
You just
about?
told me.
You want to know what I'm reconsidering, Chris? Because you obviously weren't here or you weren't listening. Earlier when Veach was talking about, I'm telling you, when Veach was talking about natural science and what natural science was, he actually gave me an article. I read it. And then after reading that, because I'm not stupid, I then question what I'm also being told by other people in this community what natural science is. So therefore, I'm going to take it up with Quantum Eraser and therefore question him because I'm being told by him it's something different. If you have an issue with me, take it up off of VC. DM, buddy.
When was this? No, I'm not going to DM you.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you weren't opening your ears.
I have every right to be part of the conversation.
Your own
I have every right to make these observations. So you're. When was this conversation with Scott?
Oh, this was earlier. If you don't believe me, you can ask Scott and you can ask other people.
Oh, I believe you. I believe you. I'm talking more about the more recent stuff, like in the last. The recent stuff
of asking a question and going over research and asking back and forth. This is a problem with you. Just having a conversation.
Yes, because you lack the fundamental understanding of the subjects at hand. You have no formal education in these subjects whatsoever, and neither do your so-called peers like Quantum Eraser or your fucking. No, he would be your peer. He would be your fucking. He'd be like your manager or your handler, even.
Ridiculous because you have a personal bias because of
I absolutely do not. I mean, I have a bias against flat earthers generally because they reject science, but they use the tools, the very fruits of that science every day. Look, why don't you throw away your fucking phone or disconnect your internet?
Have you seen the laser test?
You're fucking all hypocrites.
Have you seen the laser test over the 30-mile lake? Have you seen the laser tests? Have you seen the results? Have you reproduced the results yourself?
Oh, honey, he's seen them all. We've had discussions about them all with Chris. Chris has been here for a while. Chris is not new to this. Chris is
laser test. You don't have a successful laser test, do you? What laser test do you have that's successful?
And there's so many that have been provided to you by Jay Toll, and so many other ones, but you guys won't agree to them either, and that's fine. But I'm not going to go down this conversation right now.
Taylor doesn't have a laser. You guys are going to call it not science, so it's okay. You guys are going to call it not science, so it's okay.
Hang on, Da Vinci. The fact that Chris came in here just personally tried to attack me when you know I damn well just had a conversation with you, especially today more than any other probably time that's been on the same level. And for him to make a comment like that is a personal attack, and I'm not here for that.
Actually, wasn't a personal attack. So what? It was a general observation. If it wouldn't have mattered if it was another flat earther, Stacey, I'm not quite done. You're basically interchangeable, right? A lower level of flat earthers. So basically you have your Oakleys and your Quantum Erasers who hold on to flat earth for the power, by the way. And then you've got your like middle management cunts like fucking.
What power? What power? What power?
They have people like Stacey B going to them like supplicants and going, "Is this right?" And then they go, "No, you're fucking an idiot." And then but they don't say that. They go, "Oh, no, I'm not an idiot. You're right. They're wrong."
Putting me in that category because I'm not one of them.
But you're in it. That is exactly what you do.
Have I not gone against Nathan Thompson and his bullshit and called him out even with you guys? That's irrelevant. Stop putting me in a category of other freaking flat earthers.
Stacey, you did say you were going to take this to Quantum Eraser and ask him what his response to it is.
Why would you take it to him, and why?
But that's what Chris is describing.
Why?
Why are you the middle person?
I don't want to be an ignorant person being told two different things by two different resources, and I want to know which one is right. That's why.
Well, which one's credible?
Why? But why would Quantum Eraser know? How would he know? What's his formal training in the sciences that would give him such insight into whether or not this is correct?
This is not even about coming to him because he's an expert.
You're going to him like a supplicant.
I'm not coming to him as an expert. I'm coming to him because he's supposed to be a friend and someone in the community.
Coming to him as a cult leader.
Finish, guys.
And if he's lying to me, I'm going to have a problem with it, just like I would anybody else. And trust me, if he's lying to me, I will call him out.
Let her finish. Fuck! Shut the fuck up!
If Quantum Eraser is lying to me, I'm going to be pissed on a very personal level. This has nothing to do with expertise, okay? I don't want to be lied to by anyone, and if I'm being misguided, I will call it out. That's why.
How would you determine that he's lying to
that
you?
you're right.
You know everything that he states. How would you determine that he's lying to you? Because you know that he's stated things that are.
Because I'm going to see what he has to say about it. This is why you have a conversation a lot. I thought he said something.
We've all, Stacey, we've all presented this stuff to Quantum Eraser, and all that he can do is just mute you.
Guys, it's nothing to do with quantum eraser. Let's stick with the scientific method.
He's the genesis of this entire flat Earth
scientific
method explanation.
He's just a man.
I don't even know who these guys are. I don't
You
even know
guys
who
are
guys
just
talking about.
parroting
I'm a flat earther.
Yeah, that's what you all say. Every single one of you says
I don't
that.
even know who you guys are talking about. I'm serious.
You don't know who quantum eraser is. Sure you don't.
No, I really don't. Who's quantum eraser?
This is brand new.
Who's quantum eraser?
Dude, what you have to remember is, shut up for a minute. What you have to remember is that 3 or 4 times a week, a flat earther comes in here, quotes Quantum Eraser word for word with a number of sentences and phrases, and then says, I've never heard of the guy, I don't know who he is.
Well, I feel
so we don't believe you. We don't believe you. You're lying. You're lying.
Sorry for them.
Stop lying.
I'm not lying.
Stop lying because you're telling the same lie that you all tell.
You're lying now because you're telling me that I'm lying and I'm telling the truth. So now you're lying. So now you're the liar.
Word for word.
So since I'm not the liar here, who should be muted? The person who's lying or the person who's not lying?
You should, by the way. So please let's not have this conversation. It's pointless, actually, because you're asking.
I'm just saying. I don't know a fuck ton of anything about a fuck shit ton.
Nobody cares, dude. Just Google it if you don't know.
Shut up, then.
Idiots that you
What
guys
have you got to say on this matter, then?
I don't know anything about what you guys are mentioning. These guys.
Right, so shut up, then.
I've never heard of them in my existence.
Then be quiet, then. You have nothing to say. That's what the conversation is.
You guys made a discrimination against flat earthers. Meanwhile, flat earthers don't even know who these guys are. What are you talking about? I don't even know who these guys are.
Right, you're muted. You're muted. The conversation currently is about Quantum Eraser and his scientific method. He's left.
In defense of flat earthers,
he hasn't got anything to say on that, then he can shut up, can't he?
No, it's not. It's not about quantum. I asked the question about astronomy and what scientific method you use to establish it. And the guy said,
and you asked that question as a result of this conversation, where I pointed out that Quantum Eraser's method and him and he. Can I just finish the sentence? That Quantum Eraser's method denies astronomy as a science. That's why you asked that question. That's where that question came from.
I asked.
Yes.
No? How can you define my thoughts?
I asked. It isn't your thoughts. It's my memory of what was said, and I repeatedly asked you. You actually went off to find a reliable source that denied astronomy as a science. That was what you were. That isn't what you did, but that was what you were charged with doing. So don't tell me I'm divining thoughts. This is what happened in this conversation.
All right, astronomy. Is it science? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What scientific method do you use to establish cause and effect? Go.
That's not every.
I don't think you know what the scientific method
the
is.
same way.
Still.
It's not what science means.
Can we slow down, guys? I think you are.
Know what science means?
Yeah, for example,
you use observations and predictions, and you test your predictions with observations.
Okay, what about the other steps?
The basic question there, you just said what causes cause and effect.
Look, dude, try and get this idea, this simple idea into your head, because we really can't continue the conversation until we do, right? You've got your 4-step, 6-step, whatever it is, scientific method, okay? We deny that is the only scientific method. So when you say, what scientific method do you use for this? And we say one, and it isn't your 4-step one, there's no point in saying, but that isn't my 4-step one. You've missed some steps. We deny that method. We say that is not the only method.
You deny science then?
No, we say, listen carefully. We say that is not the only method.
So you made up your own one. Is that what you're saying?
No.
You know what? No, I think you're right.
Yes, I did make up my own one. Yes. That's allowed.
Thank you.
That's allowed. As long as I can test my hypothesis, I can make up my own method to test it. Yes.
Okay, there it is. Can I stop right there, Jen? Can I say something?
How is that incorrect?
Correct.
Can I say something, please? This is my problem with it, with what you, and you just said it perfectly for me. When you said I could test my hypothesis and all that stuff. Because when you start looking up a scientific method and what it would entitle, it's coming down to test or experimentation. Now, you guys are using the word test for your advantage, but in reality, it's literally meant to experiment. How are you experimenting?
Again, by making a prediction, and then making my observation to see if my prediction comes true. That is a test or an experiment. You can call it what you like. How is that not useful, Stacey? Tell me, don't tell me whether it's science or whether it's natural or whether it's a test or whether it's an experiment. Tell me how it's not useful.
No, I agree with you. It's useful. It actually is, Jeff.
Can I reach knowledge conclusions? Can I reach knowledge conclusions about reality in this way?
You can, but not always.
In this instance, yes.
Right.
So each instance has to be tested.
What more do we need than that? What more do we need than that? You can give it any labels you want, but in the end, all that matters is can we draw reasonable knowledge conclusions that are likely to be true, that have a high likelihood of being true about reality? And the answer is yes, we can. And it doesn't need an independent variable. It just doesn't.
You're right on that situation. You're coming up with a reasonable, answer and stuff. But at the same time, there are many situations we're going to need that for answers to falsify or verify things.
Not everything fits.
That's why I mentioned it's
four-step process.
It's all about the question.
No, I don't think Stacey's wrong. I think that there are definitely times when that method is useful to us. And I guess there are times when it could be the only method that's useful to us to answer certain questions.
To answer certain questions,
but not
right?
every question. Exactly. You know, it's just not.
The reason Kiwi uses this is then he gets to dismiss anything that doesn't fit his narrow definition of science.
That's exactly what it is.
Right.
I would say, Stacey, as well as it's been pointed out, if you were to write a list of all the things that you say you know to be true about reality, how many of those things could you write next to them? I was able to reach this knowledge conclusion because I went through a scientific method of 4 steps or 6 steps or whatever it may be. Because I would suggest to you that if you wrote that list, almost none of the things would have that next to them. Almost none. You would have, next to each thing, you would have a list of reasonable evidence that led you to that conclusion. And that evidence could be all sorts of different things. Sorry, go ahead.
Jim, he's only got 4 steps for his program. He's got 8 more to go, right?
Yeah, 12-step program. Got it.
It is 4. Is it 4 steps? I think it is his version, isn't it? It was, anyway.
No, it's 5.
5, is it?
All right, well then 7 more steps to go.
Technically 4/5.
Do y'all think the culture is moving towards science for answers, or are we moving towards more of like a belief system?
Oh, definitely a belief system.
Belief system, yeah.
Moving away from science.
Like you can believe that you're
moving towards science. I'm sorry. Why do you guys think we're moving away from science?
Because
and all the stuff that's been going on.
Because a lot of people seem to be just abandoning it and just making up their own truth. Everyone's an expert.
First world countries, the third world countries are ready to use up those things as soon as you give them to them.
This discussion here proves that people are moving away from science, that people don't understand what it is, that they can define it as they want, and all the village idiots get together on 24/7 and talk about it.
Well, I'm not talking about
like
proving
like
it
a
on
woman
the individual level. What is
man
the
or a
global
man
effect?
believing she's a woman.
I think the
It's a
global effect is more
minority.
people are moving towards science, actually.
Exactly.
I hope you're right. I don't know.
You're just considering your
it
first
is.
world problems.
Yeah, probably.
STEM fields are more popular than anything else anymore.
I mean, all the people in China took a vaccine like as soon as it was offered to them. Other countries, it'll be very much the same, and they'll open up and get normal before the U.S. probably.
Quick question.
We'll just take our time.
Quick question that I want to get off the floor, but I was just trying to get this answered in chat. But when it comes to, like you said, the vaccine, being that it's not FDA approved, would it be put in the same legal, as far as compounds not being FDA approved, as, let's say, some doctors making a supplement, putting their face on it and claiming that it's, helps prevent COVID? Would it be legally bound to those same type of compounds?
No, because it has an emergency authorization by the FDA, which is like just like a temporary, like a credential for a teacher, an emergency credential for a teacher until they get their full credential.
Thank you. What's
and
that?
it's liability free.
It doesn't have full FDA approval, which it will. They're saying now within 4 weeks. Yeah,
they keep changing the story about what's going to happen.
It's kind of like the Patriot Act for medical.
No, not really. It
approval
allows things to be expedited when it's reasonable to expedite them. It was reasonable to expedite this in the middle of the crisis.
Right, like a Patriot Act. During an emergency, they can...
No, I don't think the Patriot Act was reasonable.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what that Ron Paul guy said, but...
It definitely gave the federal government a lot of structured power that is going to be difficult to take away or rebalance even.
Do y'all remember when Ron Paul was running for president and they asked him up there on stage during the president, what was it called? Anyway, and they asked him why he didn't vote for the Patriot Act, and he said because he actually read it. Do y'all remember that?
Yeah, it's too long also.
Yeah. Yeah, wasn't the Patriot Act an attempt to crack down on terrorism, but all it did was just
that's how it was
give
sold.
the government it just gave the government our rights to lose our rights to privacy almost.
Well, I mean, that's how they started all these warehouses where they're just recording everything. It's because of the Patriot Act.
Yeah,
long and short,
they got the money to do that, and they never really planned to do it in the past.
Here.
Wow, they really bumped that up. I was hearing that it was going to happen in January and February.
Is someone eating
noise?
I don't know, but it just made me realize that I forgot to